Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK. Click sign up to explore lessons from sports and leadership together.
When I heard the rumour that Tony Brown might return to New Zealand after Scott Robertson was dismissed, I thought it was a scenario quite familiar in the world of professional sports. In such a fiercely competitive environment, coaching changes often trigger a flurry of rumours, speculations, and expectations from fans. However, what made me reflect the most was how Tony Brown responded to those rumours. Instead of remaining silent or letting the public speculate, Tony Brown spoke very clearly, affirming that he remains committed to the Springboks until his contract ends after the 2027 Rugby World Cup. I sensed in his words not only a contractual obligation but also a level of professionalism worthy of respect. In an era where many are quick to change commitments for new opportunities, a coach asserting that he will fulfill his responsibilities to the end made me truly pause and reflect. Brown mentioned that his contract does not even include a clause allowing for an early departure. This made me think a lot about the value of a promise.
Sometimes, in life, we try to leave escape doors when entering into an agreement. But here, someone working in a high-pressure environment accepts a clear and binding commitment. It made me ask myself, in my own life, am I steadfast enough in the commitments I make? I also felt that Erasmus is not only a tactician in rugby but also highly skilled at building a cohesive team. When he expressed his desire to retain the current assistant staff, Brown, Jerry Flannery, Felix Jones, Dan Heumann, Wanderlei Stick, Dion Davids, and Dwayne Vermeulen, I realized one thing: success in sports rarely comes from a single individual. In my view, a strong team is always built from the synergy of multiple minds. Coaches with different expertise, experiences, and perspectives create a complete system. This also reminds me of life outside sports. In any field, collaboration and mutual respect are always the foundation for long-term success. When Shamanj joked about whether Erasmus would ask the vice president to revoke Tony Brown's passport to prevent him from returning to New Zealand, Erasmus responded with a playful remark. Moments like these show a fairly open atmosphere within the team.
Behind tense matches and complex strategies, coaches and players are still human. They laugh, joke, and value their relationships with one another. Reflecting on the relationship between Tony Brown and Jamie Joseph, I better understand why rumours about Brown returning to New Zealand circulated. The two previously worked together at the Highlanders and in Japanese rugby. In sports, long-term professional relationships often create deep trust. Therefore, when someone is mentioned for the head coach position of the New Zealand national rugby union team, it's quite natural that the other person comes into the conversation as well. However, I also noticed that Brown is not in a hurry to chase such opportunities. He previously declined an offer from Rugby New Zealand under Ian Foster and did not seem overly eager about working under Scott Robertson either. This led me to think that everyone has their own path. Not every opportunity is the right fit, and sometimes saying no is the right choice.
One thing that impressed me was Brown's frankness about the future. When asked what he would do after the World Cup, his answer was simple: he hasn't thought about it yet. I felt that his response was very genuine. In life, we are often pressured to have plans for everything, to know exactly where we will be in 5 or 10 years. But the truth is, we cannot always control the future. Sometimes, the best we can do is focus on doing well what is right in front of us. I also reflected a lot on Erasmus' viewpoint when he said that the success of 2025 will no longer matter once the new season begins. In sports, as in life, yesterday's achievements do not guarantee tomorrow's victories. Every day is a new challenge, and we must constantly prove ourselves again. For me, this is an important lesson. We can easily become complacent with past achievements, but the world does not pause for anyone. When the whistle blows, whether in sports or in life, everyone starts again from nearly the same point.
I drew many lessons for myself. The first is about commitment. When you take on a responsibility, give it your all until it is completed. The second is humility in the face of success. What is achieved today is only a foundation to move forward, not a stopping point. The third lesson I sensed is the importance of the collective. A strong team does not rely on one star but on the entire system. When we know how to collaborate, share knowledge, and respect each other, we can achieve far greater accomplishments. Sports are not just about winning or losing. Behind every match are people making tough choices, upholding professional commitments, and living by personal values. Understanding this, I believe, allows fans to view sports with deeper respect. I believe that sports always have the power to connect people. A coach's decision in South Africa, a rumour from New Zealand, or an interview in Cape Town can make fans around the world think and discuss. It is this connection that makes sports a universal language for humanity.
Thank you for being with us. Keep your commitments, respect the team, and learn from every match.